Right, so I wanted to talk about decision making, and this is not a me telling you what to do with your entire life, but I'm going to look at why we put stuff where in regards to flowers. One of the workshops that I do with people is how to make a hand tie, so a simple bouquet. And the question that comes up time and time again is, where do I start? What do I pick up first? Do I start with foliage, or do I start with a flower? And the simple question is there's no right or wrong answer to this at all. You just need to start. You just need to get yourself going. So I've got a selection of quite mad colours here today. These are mentha roses. I've got some ranunculus, eucalyptus, all sorts, a nice mix. But I just wanted to use it as a prop really to show you what I mean. So I know I've been a florist for X amount of years, but believe me, it is just a case of picking something up and starting, and then you can get going, and then you can start creating what you're wanting to create. So I've just got, what have I got? Ranunculus as well. I've got some wax flower, some lavender foliage actually, which is really lovely. But all I want to do is create a simple hand tie. So that's literally what I'm going to do with a slightly falling apart ranunculus, but they're very, very pretty. So the first point would be just pick something up and go. Just start putting flowers together in your hand, and start creating. Sometimes easier said than done, but look how brash they are. So these are mentha roses, lovely, very delicate sort of pale pink colour, but quite pretty. My next point, again, in workshops, people say, is there a right or a wrong way of doing this? And there is part of me that goes, yes, there is a right and wrong way of doing it, but equally, there's not. Learn the basics. Learn how to make a hand tie, learn how to spiral your stems, learn how to get something to stand upright. Make sure you know how that kind of thing works. But when it comes to what flower am I going to put where, I think the rules ease up slightly. Because I look at, through the time that I've been a florist, I look at how styles have changed. Every time I have a florist who comes to me and says, I want my bouquet to look like I've just picked it from a field, it's really tempting to go on then, go and pick those flowers. That style now is very much in. It's very kind of loose, informal, relaxed, and it's not the kind of rules that I started out with of there needs to be 5 of these, 3 of these, 7 of these, odd numbers. So you can have something that is just dried flowers. You can have a bouquet that's full of, I don't know, mimosa. You can do what you like, really, because I think to a certain extent the rule book has been thrown out the window. So where was I? I'm just going to put some more of this lavender foliage in, and I believe you me, I'm not thinking about what I'm putting where. I'm spacing stuff out. If I put all of these roses together, so I could do that. It does change the look. It completely changes the look. But then in my head, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That could then become sort of grouped sort of bouquet, grouped different colours. It would look odd, but you could kind of make it work. So I am spacing stuff out. I am, giving each flower its sort of the room that it needs. But believe you, I'm not thinking much about where stuff's going. So, first point would be start, get yourself moving. Second point, the rule book, to a certain extent, has been thrown out the window. If we're talking about where do I put this flower, learn the basics. I guess that's the next point. Learn the basics of how things work. Understand the mechanics, all that kind of stuff. So you can kind of, this is turning quite odd, isn't it? Right, let's get myself on a track. So, because this is these are quite sort of brash colours, it's difficult to kind of make it look balanced, really. So then you're thinking, okay, actually, maybe I'll just stop there. But it's thinking, there you go, that's a bit better. It's that whole thing of, and hopefully this makes sense. It's that whole thing of starting, putting stuff in, seeing what it looks like, and if to your eye it doesn't look balanced, move it. You know, if I put that there, the red is too dominant. You know, that group doesn't work. It doesn't look right. So I'm going to space it out and put this one round here. You know, I probably wouldn't put this large ranunculus. You could put it there, but you need more foliage around here to sort of balance it out. You could sort of shift it around. Let's turn it round again and balance it. There you go. So you can kind of see you're balancing the dominant colours out with the slightly, you know, the paler mentha roses. But you know, it's a lot about experimentation and seeing what you think. Does that work there? So let's put some more foliage in here. There you go. So foliage is brilliant for that sort of spacing the stronger colours out. It gives the flowers room to sort of breathe, I guess, in a certain sort of way. Again, if I took all of the foliage out of this bouquet, it would completely change the look. But it's that experimentation, it's that playing that helps you discover these sorts of things. And so my next point would be learning from other people. You know, if you're worried about making mistakes, if you're worried about not doing the right thing, if you're worried that you don't know enough about why you should put certain flowers where, go to workshops, go and learn stuff off of people, you know, that you follow on social media. You know, buy some books and see what they say. A lot of my floristry journey, though, has been about experimentation. You know, it's seeing an idea and thinking, I'd really like to make that. I don't know how to, but I'll have a go. So I guess, you know, I've talked to people about decision making, and, you know, my husband will say to me, well, why did you put that there? Why did you, you know, place that there? And there's part of me that goes, I don't know, but there's part of me that also knows that from experience, I know that that flower will look good there. But also one of the aspects I'm learning in my journey is that I'm quite a sort of laid back sort of person. I'm quite sort of relaxed. But there's sometimes, I think there's points where I need to fine tune my business. I need to fine tune my skill by being a bit more intentional, is looking back at photographs of my work and thinking, actually, no, I do need to move that. And next time I do that, I need to, you know, to change how I work something. You know, the mechanics didn't quite work. I did it a bit slapstick, you know, it was a bit too relaxed. So I need to fine tune. I need to sort of make things a bit more smoother, a bit more easier. And hopefully that makes sense. But as I carry on, I'll just add this last little bit of wax flower in. So yeah, you might look at this and think, I don't like that at all. But that's okay. That's all right. There we go. It's a bit bonkers. It's a bit crazy. But for the purposes of what I'm talking about, it kind of works. So if you think about it, if I took all of the yellow out, it would change the look entirely. If I took the red out, the same thing would happen again, actually. But if I took the yellow out, actually, you could then go into sort of, you could have a brighter pink in there. And again, that look would change altogether. But these were the flowers that I had to play with this morning. So I wanted to show you, you know, how things work, how colour can shift. I mean, if we took the ranunculus out, it would suddenly become quite a delicate, girly sort of bouquet with the wax and the roses and the lavender and the eucalyptus. It would be a very pretty sort of thing. So do experiment with colour. Go and buy some colours that, you know, flowers that you wouldn't normally play with, you wouldn't normally buy, or you wouldn't normally experiment with, and have a play, and look at what works and what doesn't work for you. So just going to show you. There you go. See? It's now completely changed. Put that rose back in the middle. You know, that look has completely changed, hasn't it? Get this wax. And that's quite sort of, I guess you'd call it boho, quite sort of, you know, wafty. You could waft around in a beautiful dress and carry that. Put some herbs in there, that would be amazing. So just things to think about, you know, why do we put stuff in where we put it? You know, it's a useful thing to think about. So just have a play. Like I said, go to the wholesalers and go and buy a wrap of roses that you wouldn't normally work with, or you know, colours that you wouldn't normally pick, and experiment and see what works for you and what doesn't. So if you've enjoyed this video, click subscribe and hopefully we'll see you again soon.